Hello, girls and boys. Welcome to Storytime Fun. I dedicate this next book to my precious grandchildren, Ethan, Denver, Summer, and Violet. Today's story is called Tuffy the Tugboat. And in this book, you may see some lines like this along the way. That's because this book is almost as old as me. So a very long time ago, my mother put tape on there to hold it together. So it's an oldie but a goodie. Let's start. Tuffy the Tugboat tooted a sad note on his whistle. He was the busiest and the most unhappy little boat in the harbor. Every day was the same. He pushed the garbage scow out to the deep water, then he pushed it back into the harbor. The other tugboats passed him by without a single toot. They had shiny, gleaming new paint. They nudged and pulled big ocean liners and barges to their berths. Every day held a surprise for them. One day a barge loaded with iron would enter the harbor, and the tugboats would haul it to the wharf. Another day the queen of ocean liners would steam toward the port, and they would bring her safely home. Tuffy would peek around the corner of the garbage scow. The queen of ocean liners was so beautiful and stately. He tried to hide when she came close to the old garbage scow. Tuffy did not want to be seen in his soiled red coat. He would choke down the coal Stoker Bill fed him and huff and puff until a big gray plume of smoke waved around him. Tuffy could feel the heavy beat of his engine. He knew he was stronger and tougher and sturdier than the other tugboats. He knew he could work harder too, but Tuffy had to do the same work every day. Sometimes Tuffy would chug past the other tugboats very quietly. He would hear them telling of their adventures. One tugboat named Hooker had traveled a long way. Another called Sand Scraper had worked in the canals. Gator had made a channel in the winter ice, and Towhead had towed great rafts of logs. "And what do you do, Tuffy?" asked Gator. All the other tugboats hooted. They knew that Tuffy did nothing but tow the garbage scow in and out of the harbor. Tuffy felt ashamed. He choked down more coal and steamed away with the little engine beating hard and his plume of smoke trailing sadly behind him. "If only I could show them how strong I am. I would like to do something brave and daring. Then they would not hoot at me," Tuffy thought. The other tugboats soon forgot about Tuffy, for they had a big job to do. They had to tow and push the queen of ocean liners out of the harbor into the deep sea. Tuffy hid behind the garbage scow and peeked around the corner. How he wished he could join them. Tuffy swished around to give the scow a big push. A barge loaded with freight cars was in the path of the scow. It was one of the biggest barges Tuffy had ever seen. He left the garbage scow to have a better look at it. There were no other tugboats around. "Ah, now I can prove I'm strong and brave. I will take this freight barge into the harbor all by myself," said Tuffy. Tuffy worked fast. He used all his strength to push the huge barge into the river channel. He got so tired he could hardly puff. He had started back toward the garbage scow when he heard a loud hoot. The tugboats had returned from pushing the queen of ocean liners out to sea. Instead of praising Tuffy and telling him how strong and brave they thought he was, the other tugboats hooted at him more than ever. "Ye can turn right around and push that freight barge out of the river channel again, Tuffy," said Gator. "The three of us pushed it out of the harbor this afternoon, and then you came along and pushed it back," said Sand Scraper. So Tuffy had to push the heavy freight barge out of the channel. The other tugboats hooted and blew smoke at him. For many days after that, Tuffy hid behind the garbage scow. One morning, Tuffy had to push the scow out in the worst storm he had ever seen. The waves were so strong they beat against Tuffy's deck and cabin until he could hardly move straight ahead. There was thunder and lightning and heavy rain. But Tuffy had his work to do. He pushed the garbage scow out into the ocean. When he turned to push it back, he heard the whistle of the Queen of Ocean Liners. The liner was off her course. Tuffy knew that if she went straight ahead, she would run into the rocks instead of the harbor. "Gator! Sandscraper! Hooker!" Tuffy tooted. "The Queen of Ocean Liners is lost in the storm. You must rescue her at once." "Not I," said Hooker. "I'm strong enough to face those big waves." "Not I," said Sandscraper. "I've just been painted, and I would get scraped and marred if I tried to push a ship in bad weather." "Not I," said Gator. "I could not find my way around in the storm. I might push the liner into the rocks." Tuffy did not want the Queen of Ocean Liners to hit the rocks and get battered and torn. "I am stronger than Hooker. I do not have to worry about the new paint like Sandscraper, and I go into the ocean every day. I would not lose my way like Gator. I can safely guide the Queen of Ocean Liners into the river channel," said Tuffy. "It's too stormy," said Hooker. "It's too dangerous," said Sandscraper. "It's too far away," said Gator. Tuffy hooted at them. He hooted his whistle. He swallowed an extra helping of coal and steamed out to sea. His engine pounded. The waves splashed on the deck, but Tuffy kept on until he reached the Queen of Ocean Liners. He towed her on to the right course. Tuffy was all worn out by the time he got the Queen of Ocean Liners into her proper berth in the harbor. Whew. The next day was bright and sunny, but Tuffy slept late. He was awakened by the root-a-toot-toot-toot of the tugboat whistles. "Good morning to you, good morning to you, good morning, dear Tuffy, our friend tried and true." Tuffy blinked his eyes and looked around. What is all this about?" he asked. "You are to be given a new coat of paint," said Hooker. "You are the only tugboat strong enough to pull the Queen of Ocean Liners all by yourself," said Sandscraper. "And that is to be your job from now on," said Gator. "And who will push the garbage scow?" asked Tuffy. "Gator will push it Monday and Tuesday. Hooker will push it Wednesday and Thursday. Sandscraper will push it Friday and Saturday. Tuffy will not push it at all, because Sunday is a holiday," said Hooker. From that day on to this, Tuffy never has pushed the garbage scow. He steams out to greet the Queen of Ocean Liners, and he escorts her out to the ocean again when she leaves. All the tugboats in the harbor toot in salute to Tuffy when he passes them, and Tuffy always waves his plume of smoke proudly and toots a happy note on his whistle. The end for a very happy Tuffy. That's it for today. See you next time.